Bomb threats, drug busts, and a notorious Ivy League admissions scandal. These stars could have had all the fame and fortune a person could ask for, until one big screw-up cost them a role. Robert Downey Jr. went through some tumultuous times with his addiction issues. From 1996 to 2001, he was arrested multiple times on a variety of drug and weapon charges. After several trips to rehab, Downey finally seemed to have it together, but a relapse led to a 3-year prison term for parole violations in 1999.
I was surprised to admit that when I was, locked down in a California correctional facility, I said, wow, this is really not panning out for me.
Downey was released early due to time served with a condition of posting a $5,000 bond. He took up the role of Larry Paul in Ally McBeal almost as soon as he left prison. A popular character who gets tangled up romantically with a Boston lawyer, played by Callista Flockhart, Downey scored a Golden Globe win and an Emmy nod for his work. The show planned to marry Larry and Ally off, but Downey was arrested in Los Angeles in November 2000 for possession of cocaine and Valium. After wandering the streets barefoot in April 2001, he was arrested again for suspicion of being under the influence of drugs, but released. The show promptly fired the actor, with the season 4 finale rewritten to get rid of Larry.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
During season 5, John Bon Jovi was brought on as Ally's sensitive new love interest, Victor Morrison, but the character never caught on with audiences and didn't last through the whole final season. Downey, meanwhile, finally attained sobriety, found superstardom as Iron Man, and won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Oppenheimer. Charlie Sheen's removal from 2.5 Men is a cardinal example of what can happen when an arrest snowballs into something world-shaking. On December 25, 2009, the actor was taken into custody for a domestic violence incident involving his then-wife, Brooke Mueller. Sheen went to rehab in early 2010, but was arrested again in October of that year. It was only a few episodes into the 6th season of 2.5 Men, and by the time the 9th episode rolled around, Sheen was gone.
I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. It's not available because if you try it once, you will die.
The sitcom went on hiatus in early 2011, coinciding with another rehab trip for Sheen. The show was temporarily cancelled after Sheen attacked creator Chuck Lorre during a radio appearance and demanded a 50% raise after being banned from the Warner Brothers studio lot. Instead, Sheen was fired from 2.5 Men in March 2011. He sued Lorre and CBS for $100 million, with a lawsuit settled out of court that September. Lorre responded by killing Sheen's character, Charlie Harper, off-screen, and replacing him with millionaire Walden Schmidt, played by Ashton Kutcher. After 4 more seasons of Walden living in Charlie's house with his brother Alan, the show was cancelled for good.
Wow, winning!
After spilling gallons of bad blood, Sheen and Lorre have since reconciled. Sheen has several years of sobriety under his belt, and in 2023 began co-starring in Bookie, another Lorre production. Jonathan Majors' career was on a huge upswing when he was arrested for domestic assault on March 25, 2023, allegedly injuring his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. Majors was eventually convicted of reckless assault and harassment on December 18, 2023, and ordered to attend a domestic violence treatment program. Jabari would eventually drop a federal harassment and defamation lawsuit against the actor. Meanwhile, Marvel Studios cut ties with Majors, who was cast as supervillain Kang the Conqueror on the same day his conviction was handed down, cancelling the film Avengers: The Kang Dynasty in the process. While Majors has not officially been replaced as Kang within the MCU, actor Coleman Domingo revealed on the Happy Sad Confused podcast that he met with Marvel execs amid rumors that he was being considered for the role. But he said, "Something didn't feel right to me about replacing someone. I want to build something from the ground up that is my own."
I feel like I want a role to be mine, whatever that role is.
Majors, meanwhile, continues to act after a brief hiatus, with his long-delayed magazine dreams being released in 2025 and the horror film Merciless on his docket. TJ Miller was already dealing with sexual assault allegations when he went through a self-described manic episode on April 9, 2018, falsely reporting a fellow passenger on an Amtrak train for carrying a bomb. Miller was arrested and subsequently released on a $100,000 bond. The effect on his career was immediate. Ryan Reynolds revealed in May 2018 that Miller would not be asked to appear in any future Deadpool movies. His character Weasel was nowhere to be found in 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. The charges against Miller were dropped by the state of Connecticut in July 2021. He's kept out of legal trouble since then, but that hasn't stopped him from talking about Ryan Reynolds' behavior.
People get really famous and then things get really weird.
Miller accused Reynolds in October 2022 of behaving cruelly toward him on set and said he'd never work with him again. He subsequently reported that Reynolds got in touch to apologize and admitted he'd love to work with the Deadpool star again.
It was a misunderstanding.
Lori Loughlin gambled her reputation on getting her daughter into an Ivy League college, only to have it blow up in her face and jeopardize 2 steady gigs she'd been happily working away at. Part of a ring of 50 parents who tried to game the administration system by fudging their children's credentials, then bribing college officials to look the other way, Loughlin was charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering, wire, and mail fraud. Loughlin took a plea deal and ended up serving 2 months in a federal prison. She also had to pay a $150,000 fine and complete 100 hours of community service. Each series handled her lack of availability differently. Fuller House simply ignored the disappearance of Aunt Becky until the series finale, where it was explained she's in Nebraska taking care of her mom. Her When Calls the Heart character Abigail Stanton was also written out of the Hallmark TV show, as she too went east to take care of her mother. But hope does spring eternal for Loughlin, quite literally, as she's since reprised Abigail for the show's spin-off, When Hope Calls. James Remar's arrest for drug possession could not have happened at a worse time for the producers of Aliens. The actor had already been in England playing Corporal Dwayne Hicks when his apartment was raided. Caught with hash and heroin, he was arrested and summarily removed from the film.
And it wasn't a time where you got a friendly slap on the wrist and sent to rehab. They just got rid of you.
With Aliens already filming for more than a month and the heads of the studio not pleased, director James Cameron called up his The Terminator co-lead Michael Biehn. The actor jetted over to London to complete the shoot, refilming some of what Remar had shot, though a number of larger set pieces where Hicks is seen from behind were not restaged for logistical reasons. That meant both men technically play Hicks in the film, though you never see Remar's face. Remar has admitted to being disgusted with his own behavior.
I didn't just screw myself. I screwed other people.
Remar subsequently got clean and has gone on to have a wide-ranging career as a character actor. Mackenzie Phillips has had it tough in Hollywood despite being the child of music royalty. Her father was John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. Though Mackenzie launched a successful acting career as a teenager, addiction issues plagued her for years. They definitely affected her role as Julie Cooper on One Day at a Time, resulting in her replacement on the show. Phillips, who first began using drugs at the age of 10, was arrested in November 1977 for disorderly conduct while under the influence of drugs. That occurred during a break in filming for the show's 3rd season, and by the time season 5 rolled around, her lack of reliability resulted in a showdown between her representatives and CBS. Phillips was fired from the show in the winter of 1980, and her character was ultimately written off. Fresh out of rehab, Phillips returned for a guest spot during season 7 and stuck around for season 8. But when she relapsed, Phillips was fired a second time. The show simply kept Julie conveniently off-screen during its 9th and final season. Phillips has since worked hard to regain her sobriety and continues to occasionally appear in movies and TV shows.
My belief is that there are many ways to the top of the mountain and the destination is the same.
Jamie Waylett made a name for himself playing bully Vincent Crabbe throughout the Harry Potter films. But when Waylett was arrested in 2009 on charges of cannabis possession and carrying a knife, the trajectory of his career quickly changed. He was subsequently sentenced to do 20 hours of community service. In 2012, however, he was arrested once again for his role in the 2011 London riots. Though he was cleared of bomb-making charges, security camera footage captured him drinking from a stolen champagne bottle and holding a gasoline bomb. He was sentenced to 12 months in prison for handling stolen goods and violent disorder. Waylett was subsequently removed from the last 2 Harry Potter sequels. Blaise Zabini, played by Lewis Cordyce, moved front and center in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 to perform many of the tasks that Crabbe does in the book. Stoney Westmoreland's departure from Disney Channel's Andy Mack was a jaw-dropper because of the nature of his alleged crimes. Westmoreland was accused of trying to meet with someone he thought was a 13-year-old boy for a sexual encounter on December 14, 2018, and subsequently arrested. The actor allegedly tried to solicit nude pictures from the minor and sent nude pictures in return. He then arranged a meeting using a ride-sharing service, only to realize that the boy was actually a Salt Lake City police detective. As reps for the Disney Channel noted in a statement at the time, the actors on the show were roughly the same age as the boy Westmoreland was trying to solicit, leading to his immediate termination from the show. Westmoreland had played the title character's grandfather, Henry or Ham, since the show began. After Ham was written off, his role as confidant was filled by Andy's grandmother, Celia, played by Lauren Tom. Westmoreland, meanwhile, was sentenced to 2 years in a federal prison in 2022. Columbus Short managed to turn a series of dance-centered parts in films like Stomp the Yard and You Got Served into a dramatic acting career that won him the role of Harrison Wright on Scandal. But then he was arrested for felony battery with serious bodily injury after participating in a bar fight on March 26, 2014. Short's then wife, Tanee McCall, filed for a restraining order in April 2014, accusing Short of threatening to commit murder-suicide with a knife. A few days after the accusations came out, Short confirmed his exit from the show. Harrison was ultimately killed off during the season 3 finale of Scandal.
It was hard after that.
He was replaced by a cavalcade of actors during season 5, including Scott Foley's Jake Ballard. Short would eventually explain his departure on Shondaland Audio's Unpacking the Toolbox podcast in June 2024, saying he was falsy as a human. He also admitted that his drug-related lateness resulted in a lack of interesting storylines for Wright, which frustrated him. But in the end, it was worth it. He said on the podcast, "If I could have did it again, oh man, I would have did it differently. But everything that I went through, everything that I did, all the mistakes, has led me to the man that I am today. And I'm proud of the man I am today." Short has had further brushes with the law since then, but continues to maintain a healthy acting career post-Scandal. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the Crisis Text line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI 6264, or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website